Sir.
Hello, Warriors. How's everyone doing the last week of August? Let's wrap it up. The title of the video is The Dollar Reaching the Battleground, the Battle Zone, where I believe it's going to take some type of stand. I talked about 101.50 to par 50. So far, the low has been par 53. I'm not saying it can't, tag this weekly moving average or even try and freak people out by going to a shade under par, but I think that there will be some type of bounce. I don't think it's going to be a huge bounce, and I do think that this is going to fail after the bounce. So what do you do? Sometimes you do nothing. I mean, you're well positioned in the dollar. If you took to heart, a lot of the different entries on different currencies, including the dollar itself. I mean, you were short from here, short from here, short from here. So sometimes what you do is you hold and you just trail, and you took some partials, you trail your stops, and um, hold your position because this could turn out to be, we could see 120 euro. We could see the mid 140s in cable. Um, Aussie approached a pretty important neckline here off these prior highs. It didn't quite get there, but you got to buy pullbacks in Aussie from 4.5. So, maybe we pull back to 6.5 or so. I'm not looking for anything big, but once we break out over this 68 level, you could be talking about 74, okay, back towards these highs. And that won't be the end of it either. So your long Aussie, the entry was 64.5. So perhaps you trail your stop to under 66. And then the worst thing that happens is you make 150 pips. So even if the market comes back quite a bit, you still make money. If you want to tighten it up, you're not willing to give that much of your profits back to hold a position for higher levels, you could tighten it up. It's your discretion, but you should be in kind of stress-free types of positions on the short side of the dollar. Everyone's recognizing it now, the dollar breaking down. Everyone's talking about it, but they weren't they weren't talking about it when the Dixie was trading at higher levels. People were at worst neutral to dollar, um, you know, saying it's in a range, but we're able to capitalize on the range, and now we're at the bottom of the range. But there were all kinds of sells in here. I have a box marked where some of my interviews where I was telling people to sell the dollar. There's that box right there. So we were always looking to sell bounces. We're not trading at counter trend, which probably saved us money because then you have to be perfect. I'm not going to trade this counter trend. Maybe it gets back to this line at 2.5 or so. At that point, I'm a seller. So that's the way things look in the dollar. The metals continue to advance. They're doing nothing wrong. The silver loves a bear market in the dollar. It's going to be very bullish for silver longer term. This dollar break is going to be um, very bullish for commodities in general. Okay, so I want to give you an update on the trade that I started working in the narrative in WTI, which in the room, the buy was done at 73. You should have partial profits. You have $5 here. Surprisingly, uh, the reasons given for this move today is not the exchange between the Israelis and Hezbollah, but there's problems and halting of production in Libya over some type of currency issue with their central bank. So this doesn't even take into account if anything happens. I know both sides say neither of them want to escalate into a war, but they keep escalating. So, I hope that it doesn't happen. I hope I'm wrong, but, you just keep raising the temperature and raising the temperature, there could be a mistake. So anyway, we still have our battle group naval forces there. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. You know, you think about what our adversaries, and the United States has plenty of them because, you know, we've been the king. We've had the reserve currency. We've really been, you know, kind of the international policeman and, you know, one of the superpowers to maintain their edge until the last, you know, decade or so. Uh, so, uh, with that happening, it's very, you know, very possible that we're going to have a continuation of a bear market in the dollar. Let's touch upon CAD, which was another big trade, and this was the crash day. It was the same day that the Aussie bottom, and you know, we've broken down under the 36 level. Didn't think it would hold. I wouldn't chase short Canada's here. I'd also wait for some type of recovery. That's a pretty good break in about 2 weeks. So I'd be careful there. Um, just looking at yields, take a look at yields. So, you know, the big surprise, I'm not sure what it was with Powell because the market had already priced in what Powell was going to say quite some time before he said it. You know, we've been heading down since May. You know, it's only the end of August, so you know, in about 4 months, we've gone from 470 to 370. So yeah, there you go. There's a full point. The market has taken out the 10-year. We'll see what happens with that. Regarding S&Ps, tough to fight. You know, I still think we'll probably get new contract highs, but if you want to be a buyer, maybe you look at it and see what it does if we get a pullback towards 55 in the coming days. And watching the end here to see if we could get a higher low posted. If we do, I think there's a chance we could rally back towards 152. You also have to take into consideration that it's month end, and so you know there's book squaring happening into month end. And let me just update this WTI one more time. So we're cracking this resistance. I'm now expecting it to test this resistance up here around 82, 82 and a half. And if we break out, we could see a quick surge. You'll have to pay attention to whether or not we get a false breakout, but we'll cross that bridge then. We break out over 82, 83. It measures over 100. And I don't think that'd be welcomed by an already stretched, maxed out um, more than half the country on their credit cards. So, you know, it won't bother the, you know, upper 2%. They don't care what anything costs. So that's, I think, could be the wild card. It could be a big short squeeze because most people are bearish crude because of global economic weakness. Germany's getting bad numbers. China's still in a malaise. So it's not really a demand driven thing. It's about supply. So I hope that some of these ideas, you know, if you've been listening to me, you didn't get caught long the dollar during pretty much a collapse, and you may have missed a few things, uh, maybe in the gold. We'll see. I just can't just jump into this. The miners are open, so let's take a look. GDX, you know, it looks like a third drive to a top here. I just can't launch and get long up here on that's GDX, and here's Newmont. You know, we're getting an overthrow now, but it's diverging. So I still have not added on to the miners. Probably will regret it, but we'll see. Um, just a quick look. I don't think euro. I think you have to buy the euro on a pullback towards 110 and a half, 110. Cable had a nice breakout today. Actually, you know, we took out some important levels. Um, you could see it better on the weekly. So really, it's a dollar story, it's a Fed story, it's a rate story, and inflation will not be dead if we're going to get the kind of decline I'm looking for in the dollar. That's going to stoke it again. And just like in the 70s, we declared victory over inflation two prior times before Volcker got draconian. So that's my wrap. Sometimes, not every day do you have turning points and new positions to put on, ride this dollar trend, add on bounces, buy the dips in euro, pound, Aussie, and I'll be keeping an eye on the yen for a possible buy here this week. I'm just the only thing that holds me back, and I think you guys know my work, is that the low before we've had this bounce here is confirmed. So that's what keeps me out of it. That we should that this is not the low. But the question is, do we take this out first or get like a C wave rally first? So, the trade is really if you get a rally up here towards, 51, 52, that's a sell. Here it's a guess as to whether it does it or breaks to new lows first before a bigger retracement. So remember, everyone, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And I'll see you in the room. I'll be back with Mike tomorrow, 11 a.m. EST. Good hunting. Thanks for following. Any questions? I checked the videos. Any comments? I'll respond to you. So have a great day. Good hunting and adios.